Alrighty. We are going here. Hey everybody. How we doing today? I have my eye on the chat, so you can let me know what you're thinking, what you're doing, if you got questions. And let's get started. So, disclaimer, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, and fun. It is not recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. If you desire personal financial advice, consult a financial advisor. Done with that. Now, there's a cat breaking out, pushing above that trend line this morning. Got an alert for it. That can be a bullish sign. Nice pop up. Really nice looking right there on cat. Of course, we do have the higher trend line off the ultimate highs there, but it can at least run up to this 230 area. Yeah, potential 15 bucks in there. Pretty good looking. All right, now, I got some other stuff planned here. So tonight, Apple and Amazon, Intel, top of the list over here. And the teaser for today's live stream, Apple and Amazon. Let's talk about what kind of move we can potentially expect off of those two. And maybe you don't know how to calculate that, so let's go into what kind of move potential out there. So let's start with Apple, and we can see came right up to the roadmap line, getting a little pullback. Now, is this going to be bullish or bearish? Chart's not really telling us right now. There's not a clear indication which way it's going to go. When we look right here, it's kind of got a doji today. Maybe because of the meta. Looking over at meta, big down, right back to the 100 area. So is it just sympathy for that? Or is there some excuse on Apple? Not sure. But let's see what the market is expecting. So the options chain kind of tells you if you weren't aware. So what we do, we go out to Friday, past the options expiration. It's got 1 day left here, and we roll down and look at the at the money. So at the money, $1.48. So right there, got 370. And basically 365, 355, so about 360 on both sides, 365 on both sides. Pop up a calculator, since I sometimes am bad at doing that math in my head. So roughly $7.30 move, up or down. Right, that's kind of right now. It appears to be slightly more biased against the upside. The premium is just slightly higher on the upside than it is the downside. But not, so we run out there, $8.94, run down $8. Yeah, well, got more, the premium's a little higher out here than it is out here. So it's the at the money, they're thinking there's a little risk of going up, but on the actual target, there's a little more premium out there. Now, the big thing, you can't just go buy like that $8 away move, $7 away move, because there's something called IV crush. It's the implied volatility is what's got those prices ramped up, because we got a big unknown event coming up this afternoon. Now, the crush happens when that event is known after tonight. Tomorrow morning when the options open up, all that premium that's in there for the unknown event is going to suck out. You can see the IV rank, the current IV, implied volatility, running about 36.63%, and it's in the 79th percentile. If you've never seen this little cool thing, you can look at the IV implied volatility constellation. You can kind of see this week we've got a crazy high, 103% implied volatility. Next week, only 53%, and then the week after, 46. So ramping down in expected. The implied volatility, and it overlays a 30-day average, which I'm not really, I guess that's a 30-day average for this expiration. So right now we do have an IV ramp, which means, if you were looking at the standard decay curve for an option, well, this thing's going to be like way an liar. But we know there's a big event that nobody really knows what they're going to say. I mean, I'm sure some people out there do, but and then what's the market reaction? Earnings, depending on who you listen to, earnings are 50% what they did do, and 50% what they're gonna do, or what they expect to happen. And maybe it's 60-40, 40% what they did do, 60% what they're gonna do. But these kind of things do affect this IV. You see, next Friday, is still pretty ramped up too. So be cautious, be careful. Right now, that's kind of the odds there. It looks like the options are tilted a little bit toward us getting a drop. And if you look at big tech so far, Google, Microsoft, Meta, I don't even know if Netflix has done anything. No, they don't have earnings they don't even see earnings on here. I guess they reported back in October. Yeah. Out of these, looks like Netflix is the only one that's been doing better. So, yeah, of course, Meta playing the ad revenue game, big hit. Google playing the ad revenue game, big hit. So, comes down to digging in the numbers and seeing how much Apple relies on ad revenue. And that may be way down. It may take them back down to this 140 area. Is what the options are kind of pricing right now, 140, 141, somewhere in there. Of course, we're getting live movement, and the most accurate thing to do would be come in 355 and look at those option prices and where the price is at 355, and that kind of gives you a spread for where the market expects that to happen, the range of up or down. And right now, like I said, the put prices are a little bit elevated compared to the calls, so there's a little bit of I guess expectation that we get a drop. So checking out Amazon here. All right, I'll check that out in a minute, George. So checking out Amazon. Well, is it down sympathetically for the rest of them? Not so sure. This one definitely not as bullish looking. A lot of sideways chop here. We could see one more flush lower on this chart. That's just based on the chart, not on earnings, not on anything. That does look rather bearish, like we're going to get one more push down into the 100 area to clean this up. Go off the lowest low here, up to the high. And maybe as low as 90. All right, let's see what the options are pricing in. Amazon. Wow, look at 169% volatility priced in. So let's close up that IV chart there so we can actually see some prices. We're sitting at 113, so 450 and 450. It's pretty balanced, right at the money there. That's $9. I don't have to do the math on that. 450, 450, $9 move. So 113 up, $9 would be 122. Got to turn about $1.25, and down would be 105. And they definitely have the bottom protected more than the top. We were talking about a move down to 90. It's going for 19 cents right now. I don't know that it gets there on earnings, but it might. It kind of depends on how sales have been for Amazon. But like I said, the chart looks like it needs to go one more lower low, clean it up. All right, any questions on that? Let me know in the chat. Otherwise, let's get moving on here a little bit. Look at some other things. I think George wanted to look at TMF. The Treasury bill? That looks pretty bearish to me. Looks like continuation. Could it turn here? Sure, it could, but it could just do this and drift off one more time. I mean, 0 is not too far away here. When these things get in single digits, they can go into liquidation like that. So be careful messing with things in single digits. So, all right. Popping back to S&P 500. Let's check out what happened overnight here. Yeah, getting a little green going. This is delayed data, so I'm not seeing the up-to-date, up-to-the-minute move here. Yesterday we saw a big spike up and then a rough reversal right back to the roadmap line. Three-wave move, kind of choppily down into a slight lower low. Let's see what that move looked like on, and not even close to A equals C. But it did bottom in the same range where this bottomed. So that may be a 4-5-4-5 situation where this was a 4, 5, another 4, and we get a 5 of a higher degree off all this junk right here. So looking for some topping action. We might touch up in that 39.50. If you have been paying attention for the last forever, it seems like I've been looking for a move up. 39.50 was my warning price on S&P 500, and it can be a resistance on the way up here. We're getting a little consolidation right there, so you can see these kind of like a 1 2 1 2 3 4 3 4 5. So probably gonna top out near the red zone. Hopefully, I was hoping for higher in the red zone than right at the bottom of the red zone, but it could be the bottom. We'll just have to see what transcends out of this thing. So, all right, popping back over to the candle charts. NQ. Let's go back up to the daily. See where we got to yesterday. Zoomed way out. Yeah, finding resistance right at that line. So still working on getting through the line. I got 2 lines now. So we need to get above that. And right now, just finding resistance at that line. It can sit there at the line for a few days and then bust through very enthusiastically, or it can run down again. I mean, ran down here, we could get another rundown. It's possible. It's gonna wreck a lot of the awesome setup we got going on, but it's possible. Now, Russell out here leading, like I talked about yesterday, still looking really pretty bullish. So that is positive there. Oil about to get to that 90 area. Got some alerts set. You'll find out what I do in Discord for those that are in there. If you're on the live stream, you'll just have to wait and see. If you don't have access to Discord. Yeah, gasoline. Wow, look at that. One heck of a drop on gasoline right there. Like I said, resistance at the roadmap line. Popping down. Potentially will make a lower low, which kind of completes my expectation on gasoline. I've been talking about natural gas. Look at that pop up today, even though it's red. This one, mostly frustrating, but it has a pattern, and it's going to look best if we get that one more push up. I was kind of optimistically expecting a move up to 13 to 15, but we may only get a push up to this $11 area. And all it takes is one little panicky freak out. You can see we're going to rip really quickly. We can go from this level back up to that level in just a matter of a couple weeks. So I'm not ready to call it quits on this one yet. Yeah, I have been in since back here in January, and I've been riding it up. So I'm still positive on my position. I understand if you were to have listened to me back here and got in and you've kind of ridden it down, you're underwater maybe a little bit, but I'm optimistic we'll see one more little pop here. That next pop is probably going to be it for this season, potentially, unless something major happens. Just typically, we see the end of this run in the fall here, September, October, November. We always top out. We make these highs. Sometimes we get another little go in February if the winter's particularly bad, but you can't necessarily count on it. And it's not like clockwork exactly what day it peaks out, but it's sometime here in the fall. We usually get that peak, that highest high. This year would be kind of on the early side to have peaked back here in August. So looking for one more push higher before we call this one quits. Alrighty. Next up, GC, still looking like lower low. And that's kind of what I got my eye on there. Like I talked about, Mara tried to break out above the roadmap line yesterday and kind of get a little fail pattern maybe. Let's see here. Zoom it up, zoom it up. Can I zoom it up? There we go. Yeah, I got a little rejection yesterday. Not the most exciting thing to see. Bitcoin is another YouTuber calls it. Pulling back just a hair today. We do need to see it break on out. I mean, it's just a hurry up and wait game. This would be the target right up here, just based on the head and shoulders. There's no reason to believe that won't finish on up for that head and shoulders. Although that's, like I said, it's not exactly the best proportions for head and shoulders, but that roughly 1750 area is going to be the target for completing that head and shoulders. Put an alert up there. All right. Crack, doing what I expected to do. Looking really good. Still riding that one. Looking forward to keep on keeping on. I don't really want it to come back and break down through the roadmap line. Like wheat here, that was not the best, but this one even turned up a little bit today. Still positive. Checking out the DXY, getting a little bit of bounce potential, but I think this one's on a path to come right on down through here at a minimum, and it could set up and break on down through the roadmap line and turn down. So that's kind of what my game plan is for the day. Yeah, I can look at JBL. I'm not really in this to do a bunch of requests, but you got something you want to look at, that's just sideways right there. Nothing particularly strikes me as awesome right there in this range. Have been all year. Just cooking in the range. Breakout can indicate we would see a return to the high. Got to break out above that high. I mean, that's just not a trend. That's a trend that's dead at this point. All right, and then ANET. That's a downtrend. And came up close, but turning red today. If that goes right on down, might be indicative of a lower low situation. So make one more reminder out here that, save my layout. Load this layout. This one right here. At some point, our day of reckoning is coming when these interest rates cross. Now, the market can make a higher high before this happens. I mean, that's a long way from here too. But at some point, the orange line is the Fed, FOMC. The blue line is the market rate. When these things cross, just like they have in years past, we're going to see another financial crisis. So this is looming out here. I mean, prior financial crises going back. This one's going to happen. This one's coming. Let's make sure, keep an eye on this. So, all right, I'm going to kind of wrap it up for today. I'll see you again tomorrow. Make sure you check out this video right over here if you're interested. And like I said, I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for coming. Let's keep this up.